Ciao a tutti e a tutte, in questo nuovo episodio di Cattive ragazze, una mamma per amica fan podcast. Oggi sono qui con Scott Cohen, l'attore che ha interpretato il professor Max Medina. Hi Scott, how are you?
I'm good, Alice. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. I'm so happy to be with you, and I have so many questions to ask. So, for now, I just say something really quickly to my Italian listeners. Vorrei specificare che da adesso in avanti l'episodio sarà in inglese con i sottotitoli. So, but now I will switch in English. Gilmore Girls premiered 25 years ago. And the show was very successful and it's still successful today. But tell us, what was it like playing the character of Max Medina? Did you enjoy?
Yeah, I enjoyed it a lot. When I first I was asked to do it, and I actually did not want to do it at first. I read the script and I saw the pilot of the show,
Mhm.
and I was just kind of like I just wasn't interested in doing that kind of role at the time. And uh, my wife um, actually said to me, "You have to do this. You're crazy." And so I thought about it, and then I accepted it. And I had known Lauren Graham from before,
Yeah.
so I knew that I'd probably have a good time with her. But I didn't know Amy. I didn't know Amy at all. Um, and then doing it over the 3 years that I did it, I had a really, really, really good time. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I fell in love with Amy Sherman Palladino and Dan Palladino, and thought they were so talented. And they gave me a lot of leeway. They gave me a lot of room to kind of explore and do stuff. And they kind of took some suggestion from me, which was really fun. And working with Lauren was an absolute joy. She was phenomenal. And so, and at the time, you don't really know what the impact of a television show is, right?
Yeah.
Um, but over time, I've enjoyed and have kind of loved the idea of how much impact it has had globally, and how
Mhm.
much the character has meant to people. I knew that early on, actually. So, I mean, early on it really became very big. But over the years and just kind of developing over time, it really has become quite remarkable.
Yes, it's getting bigger and bigger,
Yeah,
like the popularity of the show
yeah,
during
yeah,
this time.
yeah,
Yes. So, how was the audition process for Max Medina?
yeah. So I didn't audition. So
Ah, okay.
yeah, so they just offered it to me, and so that was it. So I didn't audition.
Okay, cool. So Max
I think
Medina,
I'm pretty sure that it came from. I'm pretty sure that Lauren suggested me.
ah,
Yeah, and so that's
okay.
that's kind of how that happened. And then Amy, I think, just kind of like, she was like, "Yeah, he's it. That's it." Which I think she does. She really kind of hooks. When she loves somebody, she just loves them, and so that I think that's kind of how that happened.
Wow, interesting. Wow, cool. And so your character, Max Medina, we see the character of Max Medina during season one, and we see also that he's going to become more important during the first season. So what do you think about Max character development?
Um, I loved it. I mean, I thought that I mean, when you're doing a show like that, you know that you're kind of in service to the lead characters, so
Mm-hmm.
you're always aware that your character might kind of fade away,
Mm-hmm.
kind of as for necessity purposes, for the lead character to really kind of develop over time. But I appreciated that Max was treated with an enormous amount of empathy,
Yeah.
and an enormous amount of beauty. So I felt like he was really kind of developed in a way that allowed him to be in love, be hurt,
Mm-hmm.
be feel betrayed, come back, pursue all those things that I think happen in life with when you're in love. And I really appreciated that because I thought that was really something which I had nothing to do with other than acting in it, and then Amy and Dan developing the character in order for that to happen. And then when it really concludes in the Thousand Yellow Daisies, that to me was like, I didn't know it at the time that I did it, and I was on set when they figured it out. I mean, we had this phone call, and but that became such a huge part of the show. Yeah, and so that was quite amazing. So so I loved it. I mean, it was a surprise every time I read a script. And so that was really fun. And so I never knew what was going to come up. And but really had a good time discovering what that character became.
Wow. So still on the topic of love and proposal. So what do you think about the relationship between Max and Lorelai?
You mean what do I think about it in terms of like like where it could have gone or something like that?
Yes.
I think that the relationship between Max and Lorelai was very, very solid. And I think that I mean, this is completely from my point of view. So for, I think, there are lots of people who say that that this character, this guy was right for her. This guy was right for her. I mean, for me, Max Medina was the right person for her. And she was afraid of taking the leap. And but I think Max could have provided her a very kind of an existence that allowed for freedom and exploration and discovery, and at the same time create some stability in her life.
Yes, stability. I would say stability.
Yeah, and so that's how I feel. But I understand that she needed to kind of her fears of commitment and her fears of I mean, obviously in the end of the show, she has a commitment, but her fears of commitment at that point have to do with so many different things. They have to do with her family. They have to do with her daughter. They have so many factors that are involved that a person that comes into her life really has nothing. He has no kind of ability to kind of temper in any way. So, but the relationship when they had it was fiery and lustful and intense and I thought beautiful, and I thought they talked a lot, and they had lots of things to kind of it was intimate and charming and sensitive and all the things that you feel like that are part of a new relationship. I feel like it was all very present.
Yeah. I think that Max was the right person, but wrong time.
Right person, wrong time. I think that's probably the best way to put it. Yeah.
Yeah. And do you think the marriage proposal was too rushed?
No.
Okay.
I think you feel it and you do it.
Yeah.
If it's wrong, it's wrong. If it's not, it's not. It's like, I mean,
he was in love.
Exactly. I think, once you commit, and whatever the consequences are, the consequences are.
Yeah.
You can't think too much about
it. Yeah, I agree. So you were Medina, and would you ever give, or have you ever given 1,000 yellow daisies in real life? Or have you ever made such a romantic gesture like Max Medina?
Absolutely. Yes, I've made plenty of romantic gestures like that, but I've never given 1,000 yellow daisies. That's a lot of daisies.
Yeah.
But I've absolutely I've created romantic scenarios and have tons and tons of flowers and have built things and created things and took to places and wined and dined and everything else.
Cool. I love that. And
Yeah, romance is the best.
yes, I agree. And as you said before, you worked with Lauren Graham, appeared in Law and Order for 3 episodes in 1997 in season 7. So what was like working with Lauren Graham and Alexis Bledel and also Amy Sherman Palladino and Daniel Palladino?
Well, working with Lauren was super fantastic for a number of reasons. One is that she's extremely talented, and so it was a challenge, right? Because she's unpredictable. She comes up with things that are very, very potent and amazing. So that alone just really, it keeps you on your toes. You're very present. You just have to be present. So that was really great. I didn't know her when we did Law and Order. I didn't really know her. I think we had the same agent. Actually, I'm not sure. But I knew her right after that. I kind of met her through that, and then kind of became friends with her after that. And then I thought Alexis was so. I mean, I'm pretty sure that she had never acted before.
Yes.
Yeah, and I thought she was quiet, and she was she absorbed everything. So and she was I thought that they really took care of her and made her feel comfortable, and she Lauren was her mentor, and that's what it seemed to me. And she really kind of took everything, and over time you felt like she just developed her own sense of who she was, and it was so clear and so beautiful and charming and warm and affectionate, and I really had a good time with her. She was just who she was, and she was really interesting as who she was. And Amy and Dan, I became really, really close to. They cast me in the show that they did right after that, and this show called The Return of Jezebel James. And Amy, to me, could do no wrong. I think she's just super, 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 super talented, and just an amazing artist, and has amazing ideas, and has gotten very lucky. She's incredibly, successful, and just her relationship with Dan was really special, and how they kind of fed off each other and really supported each other, and they were each other's advocates, and I learned a lot from them, a lot. And Amy's scripts, just on the technical side, her scripts were so long. An hour TV script is like anywhere between 50 and 60 pages.
Wow.
And hers were like 85, 88. They were really long. And so there were always these huge monologues and dialogue that you had to memorize, which was hard enough. But it was, she had a real clear vision of what this show was. And just like she has I think with every show that she does, but like this was just perfect, pitch perfect. And so, it was an absolute delight. It was the entire experience of my life on Gilmore Girls was so special. It came at a really interesting time. It was a good time for me. It was really like I was working so much, and this just fit right into the middle of what I was doing. And it made me, it kind of gave me a character that, I wasn't a villain. I wasn't mean. I wasn't abusive. I wasn't crazy. I wasn't violent. I was, it was a really wonderful character to play.
Yes, a nice person.
Yeah, nice person.
I really liked Max Medina. So would you like to share with us some fun fact or behind the scene stories?
There's not so many. I mean, you know, my favorite story, unfortunately, is kind of a sad story. Is during when 9/11 happened.
Okay.
Yeah, when 9/11 happened, I was shooting. I was in Los Angeles, and I live in New York, and so my family was in the city, and we lived very very close to the World Trade Center, and I was we were shooting, and we went in. I think the day that it happened, we went in to shoot. They canceled the day, so we left. But I stayed on the Warner Brothers lot, and
Mm-hmm.
the producer of the show, and Amy put me in this room, and because I wasn't able to get in touch with my family, my wife and my son, um, because they had shut down all the cell service and everything, and so I wasn't able to get in touch, and they put me in this room with these special telephones that were hooked up to whatever satellite. I don't know where they were hooked up to, but they put me in this room for I was in there for 6 or 7 hours, and they said we're gonna get through to your wife. We're gonna make sure you are able to make sure that she's okay, that she, you know, because I wasn't able to get in touch with anybody. Okay. And they really made it like just that's all they focused on was me getting in touch with my family. And so that like I was done. I was like, that's like
Wow.
these are the best people in the world. I'll never, ever, ever, ever forget this. Um, and then other like, you know, I mean, the fun parts of being on set with Lauren were I mean, I remember like we would always shoot at night for some reason. I'm not sure why. Um, Actually, one of the so it was like early like 2000 and like I probably the show went to Italy probably later, but like
Yes.
we were shooting like in 2001, maybe
Oh.
2002. There's the big snow scene,
Mm-hmm.
and the snow at that time they used machines
Mm-hmm.
to throw up, you know, to the freezing snow or whatever, and or water, freezing water, whatever, and it would fall down. But it made so much noise.
Ah, okay.
And I'll never forget, like it was such a beautiful scene. And
Mm-hmm.
I remember like the words were just coming out of my mouth and out of her mouth. And it was just like everything like was just really like so on. And then I remember them saying, you know, we'll never be able to use this because the sound is just terrible. It's like, you know, and we can't use the sound from the machine going. So we had to, you know, they call it looping. You know, they call it like, you know, you
Mm-hmm.
go into a studio, and so we had to do the entire scene was looped. It was like you know, we had to do the entire scene.
Oh
Amy
my
was
God.
not happy. She was like, she was
And
pissed. But and then we would like, you know, me and Lauren, because I hung out mainly with Lauren, like because all my stuff was with Lauren, and then we would hang out like, you know, like in between shots, we would always hang out like on the Warner Brothers lot. We'd always kind of like, you know, like, run around and do stupid stuff on like the ER set, and you know,
mm-hmm.
we were like on gurneys, and it was hysterical, but we had a really fun time. So and then other than that, there was like there was so much work. It was like it was so hard, you know, there, you know, when you're doing like, you know, 10 pages of dialogue, and
Mm-hmm.
know, you're doing, you know, three-quarters of a page of a monologue, and you don't have a lot of time to play. You have, you know, you're mainly learning your lines and getting through the day. And so that's basically what happened.
You're too focused.
Yeah, a lot of focus.
Yeah.
Really, really excited. And for
Wow.
Lauren, it was like, I mean, I would watch Lauren. She'd like, you know, she would like, she's a huge reader. She like reads all the time. And
Okay.
which that's why she writes books too. But it's like, I remember seeing her on like, you know, like her trailer steps, so just reading. And I thought to myself, I don't know how she memorizes, like, and she memorized her, she had pages and
Wow.
pages of monologue, and how she memorized that stuff. I mean, she had a very clear brain. So it was so smart. Such
Wow.
a
I
smart.
don't.
Yeah.
Wow. I don't know how she did it. So.
I don't know if she did either. But I have nothing like, I feel like Lauren Graham is just so talented.
Mhm.
She's, you know, and she was just she was just she was incredible to work with. She's really, and I found her. To me, that show and Lauren Graham created an indelible character that like the best of all TV characters ever. Like Tony Soprano, like Kojak, like Ralph Cramden in The Honeymooners, like things that will last forever and ever and ever. And I feel like that it was Amy's writing and her talent.
Yeah, she's brilliant. So, wow. Thank you so much for sharing this.
Yeah, of course.
And I knew that you also worked on another Amy Sherman-Palladino show. In fact, you had a cameo on The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel.
I did, yeah.
Yes, where you played Solomon Melamed.
Yeah.
And what was it like playing Solomon Melamed in The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel? And were you happy to return for a cameo in Amy Sherman-Palladino show?
I love doing it. It was a lot of fun. I love Maren Hinkle, who I play opposite. I think she's super cool, and super talented as well. It was great. It was fun to do. I loved Miss Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. I thought, it was a great show. And what was the other part of the question? It was
were you happy to return?
Totally happy to do it. Totally happy to do it. I mean, it was an absolute pleasure to do. I mean, I would have done anything for them, and would have done it at any time for them, and I would continue to do anything for them and at any time.
Yes, I really loved the Marvelous Miss Maisel as well as Gilmore Girls. And Midge Maisel, the main character of The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, reminded me of Lorelai Gilmore.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of similarities. Yeah.
Yes, the behavior and sense of humor.
Yes.
So,
yes, I agree completely. Yeah.
So, in conclusion, I just want to ask a question. Are you Team Dean, Jess, or Logan?
So I get asked that question a lot.
Yeah, I know.
and it's I sometimes I say, oh, blah blah blah. So I think two things. One is I have no loyalty to any of those characters because my focus was never on Alexis.
Yes.
And the other part of me is I loved, because when I was working on the show, it was Jared Padalecki, and he was so sweet, and he was so great, and he would always ask me lots of questions and to try to figure out how to kind of get along in the business, which he no longer needs to ask those questions anymore. And so my loyalty, if it's to anybody, it's to him.
Okay, bello.
And he was Dean, right?
Yes, he was the first one.
Yeah, so for me, he was the sweetest, and he was the purest.
Passionate. Okay.
They met when they were really young. Does she end up with it? Who does she end up with? I forget.
Logan.
And then she's pregnant with Logan?
I think so.
Well, we don't know that for sure.
No, Amy Sherman-Palladino didn't say anything, but I think he's Logan.
What's your preference?
Logan, I should say. Yeah, because Rory and Logan are very similar. So they belong to the same world of wealth. So I think they were good together.
Oh, okay.
That's for this. And with this last question, I just want to say thank you so much, Scott, for your character, Max Medina, and also for being here with me today. And it's such a pleasure. It was a pleasure to be with you. And thank you so much.
You're welcome. It was a pleasure to be with you. And Maybe one day we'll get to meet each other in Italy.
Oh, wow. Wow. Yes, you have to.
A Gilmore Girls a thing in Italy. Right?
Yes.
Are you? Yeah, right. It should be, don't you think?
Yeah.
Thank you very much. I really loved it, and I'm sorry that I don't speak Italian.
Oh, that's okay. It's not a problem. Grazie. E grazie a tutti e a tutte per aver ascoltato l'episodio. Fatemi sapere che cosa ne pensate nei DM o nell'ultimo post su Instagram. Thank you so much, Scott. Ciao.
Arrivederci. Ciao.